Welcome back. Today is Saturday, August 12th, and we are here for your farm garden tour. We are anticipating rain tomorrow, so everything I did in the garden today was harvest related. Just didn't have the energy to do any weeding or stuff like that, so it was more about getting the vegetables out of the garden today so that we can do some things with them tomorrow in preservation and things of that nature. So I'm going to start off showing you what all we harvested, but I wanted to show you a picture of the skyline. Today was a beautiful day. About 76 degrees was the high. The sun packs quite a punch. So there's the neighbor. It was, very warm in the sun, but a beautiful day nonetheless. Tomorrow with the rain, we're expecting a high of only 66, and I think the overnight low tonight is 55. So that tells you what I don't want to come to terms with, and that's we're on the back side of summer. But I wanted to show you the sky because I just feel like the sky is bigger up here. It's beautiful. So I'm going to take you over and show you what we harvested out of the garden today. There's Duke. He's loving life. Ate a bunch of peas out of the garden again. So tomatoes are starting to ripen. We have a bunch that are picked here because we're only able to be here 2 days out of a 7-day week. I picked anything that was mostly ripe. Those will continue to ripen. You can put them in a windowsill, on a countertop, whatever. Let them ripen the rest of the way. This is what we got for green beans. It's a 5-gallon pail. They're starting to slow down, but I picked absolutely everything. What's in this bucket are the ones that are just, in my opinion, too big to eat at this point. Once they get to a point where they're, pooging out because the beans are so large inside, they get stringy like that. And even if you remove the string on both sides of the bean, then it just still seems like it's kind of stringy and tough. These guys are much tastier than those great big guys. We could dry those and we could use them as our seed stock for next year, but we'll see. Potatoes. In previous videos, we kind of talked about the potatoes and how they're one of the last things to come out of the garden. Well, we started our garden May 21st, I think. No, excuse me. Yeah, May 21st. And these were one of the first things to go in. So there are some of the potato plants that just the foliage had completely died on them. It was time for them to come out. We left everything else that still has green foliage on it because the best way to store these potatoes is underground. The problem is once the foliage dies, then the potatoes underground have a tendency and are more likely to rot. We did find one rotten potato, but take a look at this. Can you buy a red potato like that in the grocery store? One that's that size? I've never seen them for sale in the grocery store that size. Have you?
No.
Now, we'll have to see what they look like inside. A lot of times when your potatoes get really big, they have a tendency to have, a star pattern in the middle where they're cracked, and you have to cut that out. But we've never really had that problem here at the farm. So, how much of the potatoes do you think that we harvested? A quarter? A third?
No, I think all total, everything that we've picked, even taking stuff as new potatoes, we've probably picked about a third.
A third, okay. So we have this basket.
But it is all of our Viking red and all of the, and I don't remember the name of it, but the purple potato.
Correct. So we've got these potatoes here, and this is the rest. More red potatoes here. Nice size. These are the purple potatoes. They are purple fleshed through and through. One of the things that we're looking forward to, or I'm looking forward to at least, our next holiday dinner that we host, I'm going to use those as our mashed potatoes. I can't wait to see the kids' face, my nieces and nephews' faces, when they see that we're having purple mashed potatoes for supper. Weird Aunt Juliet, I know. Total nerd. Okay, so these are baby potatoes. I keep them all. My mom's like, why do you even bother with those teeny tiny ones? Because you can scrub them up. You can throw them in to whatever. You can roast them. Just because they're little doesn't mean they don't taste good.
I love those ones in beans, bacon, and potato.
Yes, absolutely. They're great in beans, bacon, and potato. And then here's pretty much the last of our snow peas that Joel is just over here mowing down on. Who knows if any of them will make it home. Joel, can you show us what a ground cherry looks like, please? These are the ground cherries. A little berry. And when you eat it, it's a little sweet. It's a little sour.
It's a
Pretty
little
tasty.
tomatoey.
Little
I still
tomato.
have snow pea in my mouth.
Okay. These are some of the potatoes that had some damage on them when we brought them up. These won't keep very well, so I've segregated them so that we can use them sooner. I think tomorrow, since we're anticipating rain, we might run a few batches and can a few batches of multiple different things, maybe more green beans. We have 54 quarts of green beans put up so far this year, and we're going to switch to pints so that we have a smaller quantity. But again, there's all the potatoes that we harvested. If you know us,
Plan on canning a good portion of those.
yep, we'll be canning a good portion of those because it's tough to keep potatoes unless you have a real cool, dry place, and it's still a little early in the season to be able to find a cool, dry place in a home. Here's the garden. Haven't really harvested any zucchini or pumpkins or anything like that. There are zucchinis in there that need to be pulled. I'll let Troy go after that. There's a couple of monsters in there. They just keep coming. So you've got your zucchini bread, you've got zucchini cakes, you've got fried zucchini, sauteed zucchini.
Where'd I put it?
I will let them harvest that. Go put it on the picnic table, please.
Okay.
We'll let them harvest that, and then we'll come back and see how many they get. But the vines continue to do their thing and be happy. Look at my morning glory trellis. Yay. So exciting. It's kind of a boring time of day because they're all closed up. But it's definitely reached up to the top, and those things are doing well. So I want to take you through the tomatoes and show you what's going on with those. We need to do a topping of the tomatoes so that it puts its energy into ripening all this fruit that's on it. We really don't need the plants to put on any more fruit because yeah, there's plenty. Our carrots here are doing well. They're maturing. Those will be pulled probably not until late September. Let's keep an eye on the forecast and see when we expect our first frost. But here are the tomatoes. I mean, look, here's the top of the fence. And then you got that much more. And they continue to put on blossoms and put on fruit. And do we really need any more? Do we really need any more? I don't think we really need any more. Okay, so we've got all of these. These are all Sun Gold cherry tomatoes, which are really tasty. But, oh my God, do we need any more? The answer is no. So that's why we are going to top these guys so that we can get all of this stuff to mature, and we'll harvest it and be done with it. I have let my basil go absolutely wild. Probably a mistake. But you know, when you're doing this as a weekend warrior, you have to pick and choose what gets done. And sometimes the weeding does not get done because something else needs to happen. Sometimes your basil doesn't get trimmed back because you got other stuff to do. It's the way life works. I told you guys when we started these videos that it was going to be real. It's real. This was a variety of tomato that I had heard of, but had never tried. These are called Jersey Devil, and they look a lot like a pepper. Really goofy looking. They're a member of the Roma family. It comes in all different shapes and sizes, that's for sure. But yeah, those are starting to come on and ripen. We've got a number of those over here producing and bearing fruit. This tomato is Amish paste, and these are starting to ripen a bit. You saw some of those in our basket. We got some cracking, and I think that's due to heat and maybe water. They did get, I think, an inch of rain this past week in one big storm. So when the water is inconsistent, that tends to lead to cracking in your tomato fruits. So these, I believe, are the mortgage lifter tomatoes. Had to, because of my profession. I thought anything with mortgage in it, I got to give it a try. I mean, they set on massive amounts of fruit. And if all of these come to ripen, I'm in trouble. But we'll be tomato rich. And we've got friends and coworkers and coworker friends and family who can take these and put them to as good use as we will. We're looking at recipes for spaghetti sauces, salsas, petite diced tomatoes, stewed tomatoes, tomato juice, all things that we can do to harvest and preserve and use them. I mean, I don't know how much that fruit weighs, but it's got to be 2 pounds or more, and there's an even bigger one back there. I don't want to try and get back there and get my hand on it for fear that it's going to break off the plant, but that's that. These are those tomatoes that had the pith necrosis, and they had fruit on them, so I just left them out here. They look absolutely awful, but some of that fruit is ripening, so I let it be. And just more and more and more tomatoes. Like I said, I got sick of the current tomatoes. I had 3 current tomato plants in here, and I couldn't get to my ground cherries. So in a moment of desperation, look at that. He's just hanging on for dear life. I yanked them out. I was so tired of tripping over them, but look at all the fruit that fell off. And I was actually considering going back to the plants and harvesting the ones that are ripe, but I just don't even know if that's a priority. You can probably hear it in my voice today. I am a little overwhelmed, but it's a good thing. I'm not complaining. We're blessed to have a garden that's doing this well. It just feels like life is busy and this is a lot. You know what? We'll figure it out. It's a good problem to have. It is a very good problem to have. So there's another this Amish paste. That's got to be a 2+ pound tomato as well. So tempted to pick this guy. I might pick him tomorrow before we go home. Can't wait to try that as a slicer and see what it tastes like. I would love to have a nice BLT made out of those. Here is the spaghetti squash. Again, the vines dying back on these. Again, I think it's because we put these guys in the ground at the end of May and they've just hit the end of their growing season. So, since the fruit is not ripe, what we're going to have to do is find a cool, dry place for them as well, so that the shells on them continue to harden and the fruit itself finishes ripening, and we will have plenty of spaghetti squash. I also need to look into how to preserve those. Just for comparison, I mean, I don't even know how to tell you how big that is. That is a really good sized spaghetti squash.
It's about the size of a football.
About the size of a football, Joel says. And I was at the grocery store. What did I tell you, hon? What did they cost at the grocery store?
What's that?
This spaghetti squash. Was it $3.99?
$3.99 a pound?
$3.99 a pound.
Or something like that?
And I probably spent, let's just call it $5. It wasn't $5. It was less than $5. But let's just say I spent $5 on that plant. And I have, how many spaghetti squash? To share with family and friends. So anyway, that's that. We found another bronze-backed bumblebee in the garden today. That's not one of them. I thought maybe it would. That would have been, or maybe it was. I thought that'd be cool to show it to you. Here's, again, the other side of the trellis. Joel's potato makes an appearance every week. Woo! Swiss chard is over here. It's really a pretty plant. Haven't done much with it lately. Heard someone say that you could, usually we eat this or try to harvest it and eat it when it's young. That way it's more tender. But I was told that these stalks you could cut and clean and eat like lettuce. And the leaves you could harvest and use them as wraps like you would a cabbage leaf for stuffed cabbages. So I might have to give that a shot because there's plenty of that in the garden. We've got that patch, and then we've got another patch over by the other arch trellis. How many zucchinis did you get, Joel?
Let me go count. Actually, it was about 2. Many.
About too many, he says. So again, 2 zucchini plants fully harvested a week ago. And now we have exactly what Joel said. 2 many. If you like zucchini, give us a call. What else have we got? Troy is over there harvesting patty pan. Again, he's not done yet. Fully harvested last week. Did you pick our great big one?
Nope.
We-
Until the end of the season.
We've left one on that we intend to let grow to the end of the season just to see how big it gets. But yeah, there's another patty pan haul. You know what Joel said about the zucchini?
Yeah.
That we got 2 many.
Yeah.
All right.
I can bring them into the pumpkin patch.
Yeah, let's talk pumpkins. So, Joel, can you get in there and
Yep.
just get in there and
Oh.
go to that
I'm just gonna
pumpkin?
bring them over to the big one.
There's a bigger one behind that. Those guys are doing well. Growing like mad.
And there's a dog.
And there's a dog. The small orange pumpkins are all turning orange. Excuse me. And you can see them because the foliage on those is starting to die back too, which is the natural life cycle of these pumpkins. The vines die back, pumpkins are left in there. These, I've read, are going to be really good and sweet for, I can't see the leaf next to the buckets in the way. Here's a big one.
Oh, there's a new big one back behind.
These pumpkins are going to make great pie and anything that you would use pumpkin for because they're nice and sweet. So, excited for those.
They're probably ready to pick now. Their stems are turning brown.
Yeah. Broccoli is still producing. It's on its way out, but it's still producing. Brussels sprouts, I did not get those harvested last weekend like I talked about. The ones on the bottom are getting so big that they're exploding, which is ridiculous. So I need to get some of those off of there, and we need to eat them. We need to give them away. We need to freeze them. Yeah, lots of Brussels sprouts. So we'll continue on down here. It blows my mind that the marigolds got as big as they did. I didn't know they would. I've never really grown marigolds before, but these things are knee high. And they started out as just teeny weeny little shoots that we started in our front room window. Here's Honeyboat Delicata. Again, these things are weird. Siamese twins all over the place, and there's hundreds of them. So we gotta wait for these guys to ripen up, and we're gonna have 1,000,001 Honeyboat Delicata. Megaton cabbage. think we're going to harvest these next weekend. And we are going to make stuffed cabbage. And it's not going to be your average stuffed cabbage.
No, then we're going to be Chipotle burrito stuffed cabbage.
Yup, they're going to be, the stuffed cabbages are going to be the size of Chipotle burritos. So we'll have to take a picture of that and share it with you. Yeah, what else? See, it's the invasion of the vines. They're everywhere. And they don't give up. Tomatillos doing their thing. There are a few that are getting close to being ripe. A couple more weeks on those. Cucumbers are still doing their thing like crazy. They had been picked pretty heavy, so we don't have a lot that are, out of control and huge. But the great thing about these varieties that we're growing is that even when they do get big, even when they do get 17 inches long and 3 inches around, the seeds are so small, they're still tasty. Okay, I must have punched a wrong button there because I accidentally stopped the video somehow. So anyway, what I was talking about is the cucumbers. So even as these things reach mammoth proportions, they're still nice and firm, not too many seeds in them, very tasty. Cucamelons. There are a lot of, we completely harvested the cucamelons last week. And Troy took some to work, I took some to work, and it's an acquired taste. Some folks like them, some folks don't. Joel is on the team of liking cucamelons. But it was funny because there was a couple people who are like, yeah, you find a way to pickle these, you're money. Duke just picked a cucumber. Dang it, Duke, you need to quit.
You can eat the cucamelons. Duke.
Bitter melons.
Doesn't like them.
Goya.
Goya. Yay, we have Goya. So those guys are coming along. I think we've determined that we probably just don't have a long enough growing season here. We knew that going in, but we wanted to try it anyway. Cause this is why the F not farm garden. Melons. These guys we're just trying to be patient, waiting for these to ripen. We've got a couple dozen in here, probably. And they're still growing. They're still taking over the garden. So it'll be fun to get those ripe and let you know what they taste like and to start sharing those. We're starting to see some fruit on the Thai chilies. Can you find one quick? These are cool because they grow up. There is one little one in here.
Right here you go. Right there you go.
Here they are. So that's fun. I was trying to untangle a squash vine or a watermelon vine from one of the jalapenos last week, and I accidentally broke the jalapeno plant. So we harvested everything that was on there. Troy gave them to a coworker who enjoys eating jalapenos, and we were told that they were good and somewhat mild as far as spice goes, but good flavor. So that'll be exciting. Those guys are putting on a bunch of fruit. The ground cherries, again, we showed you what those look like. They're all over the place. Next year, I would definitely like to grow these again next year, but I'm going to contain them in a tomato cage, especially so that we can better see them when they fall on the ground. There's another pile of I've had enough of these current tomatoes. And look, there's no lack of additional fruit on the vines that I pulled. Look, it's everywhere. I just had it with them. I mean, they're fun, they're cute, but you know what? I can wait on 1 million of those to ripen so that we can eat them. Or we can focus on the 500,000 real-size tomatoes that we have in the garden. The potatoes, again, I told you in the beginning, we harvested, we need to pick up those russets.
Yeah, we do.
Harvested the plants that were dead. So this is what we have left. It's a hodgepodge. We were going to let some of this grass that's just been a nightmare for us all year.
Oh.
A little bit of it grow for erosion control for the rest of the fall, and we'll let it be for now and then figure it out later. These are the pinto beans, and Troy pointed out something interesting today. We've got to get these up off the ground too. Over here, look at their interesting color. I had no idea they were going to look like this.
They look like our dragon tongue.
Yeah, they look like our dragon tongue beans. If you reach into my left-hand pant pocket, the one, he opened it up so that we could take a look at what the beans look like inside. And there they are. So the pinto beans are coming along.
These really just need to dry.
Yep. Cool, cool. We got to pick them up off the ground because they will potentially rot if they're laying on the ground and they get wet. So we got that going on, and there's not really a whole lot to show you over here because, like I said, I harvested everything earlier today. Picked all the beans, picked the obnoxiously large beans. The reason I did that was because if you leave them on the vine, it can prevent the plant from putting on new blossoms and new beans. And we have plenty of beans, but I'd like for the plants to produce for as long as they possibly can, because now we're at a point where we can really share them with family and friends because we've got our stores pretty much put away. We decided we're not doing anything more with these big purple guys. Can you lift up the fence so I can show the size of some of these pods? Look at that ridiculous pod. It's huge. Absolutely insane. So, actually, can you pick that and pop it open?
I can attempt to.
So they're a little fuzzy on the outside. And this is, again, we don't know the exact name of this bean, or I don't recall the exact name of this bean. We call it Big Purple because when we planted them, the seeds were huge and they were purple. Well, we've noticed that they're bright pink now, but as they start to dry, they turn a purple speckly color. So, yeah, kind of cool. And again, we grew them because...
And they still have a long ways to go based on this pod.
Yeah. So that's kind of fun. I was thinking, since we're not really eating the pods or anything, we'll wait for some of those to dry, and I could make jars with different colored dry beans in them. It'd be pretty. And yeah, another idea. Who knows? We'll see if it happens or not. Yeah, so that's what's happening in the garden. The peas are pretty much done doing their thing. Here's our volunteer tomato. I should really give him a helping hand and get him up off the ground, but you know what? That's where he wanted to grow. I figured I'd leave him alone and see what he does. Yeah, I think we had shown that in the past. Those are potato seeds. That's what happens when a potato plant goes to seed. And I'll have to do some research. I don't know if we just pick them and let them dry.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, that's a cool thing. Not every plant does that. So nifty, nifty. Well, that is what we've got for August 12th, 2023. Those tomatoes are just, I don't even know what else to say about those tomatoes. Hope you like tomatoes. All right, until next time, take care.